We are living through a period of intense collective doubt. Across modern society, there is a pervasive suspicion that the basic apparatus of our civilization is simply breaking down. When we try to interact with the systems built to serve us, the scale of the machinery makes us feel incredibly small. We end up navigating the world as pygmies, dwarfed by the massive, unfeeling giants of our own institutions. When a vital public system begins to collapse, like a national healthcare service, for example, our instinct is to look for someone to blame. We assume a specific person or a specific department has failed. Our immediate reflex is to pull out the organizational chart. We stare at a rigid family tree structure like this one, tracing the lines to figure out which boss to fire or which branch to restructure to solve a sudden, complex problem. But replacing personnel or injecting more funding into this exact same structure rarely works. Human organizations are not static, mechanical trees made of pistons and pipes. They are networks of human relationships, conflicts, and invisible cross-linkages. In the mid-20th century, the British cybernetician Stafford Beer proposed a different explanation. He argued that our institutions do not crush us out of malice. They fail because they are violating an invisible mathematical law of systemic physics. That failure is governed by a mathematical concept known as variety. In cybernetics, this chart illustrates variety. It is strictly defined as the total number of possible states a system can adopt. A single individual interacting with a simple system might only have 2 or 3 possible states. Connect them to a complex network, however, and the mathematical permutations climb into the millions. Over the last century, human variety has exploded. Thanks to massive leaps in education, technology, and global communication, the number of choices, behaviors, and demands accessible to the average population has multiplied exponentially. The problem is, our core institutions were designed decades ago to manage a low-variety world. They were built on the rigid, strictly ordered logic of the industrial era, environments where human behavior was predictable and heavily constrained. Today, those top-down structures are drowning in modern complexity. The problems they face move faster than the rigid chains of command can process them, leaving the entire system dangerously unstable. To survive this overwhelming instability, an outdated institution is mathematically forced to do only one thing. It must artificially reduce the variety of the human beings inside it. We see this reduction in Stafford Beer's diagram. The first method is direct constraint. A central boss gives instructions to subordinates, limiting their autonomy. The second method is red tape. Rigid rules, shown by these threads, constrain interactions, removing independent human judgment entirely. Finally, the institution forces the public it serves into easily manageable stereotypes. By reducing human complexity into standardized, restricted data points, the system ignores the messy reality of unique individuals. This is a desperate survival mechanism, and it demands constant enforcement. To maintain these constraints, the institution builds a massive administrative layer. Over time, it becomes a cybernetic parasite. The resulting bureaucracy no longer exists to serve the public. It consumes all of its time, energy, and resources simply to produce and maintain itself. When we realize an institution has become parasitic, our usual political solutions fall flat. We try to mandate decentralization, or we funnel more money into the system, but the bureaucracy just absorbs the cash and continues to reproduce itself. These solutions fail because they rely on a primitive definition of institutional control. We treat control as a crude process of coercion, forcing parts into place through mandates and penalties. The true cybernetic definition of control is something else entirely. It is homeostasis. Homeostasis is dynamic balance and self-regulation. Look at this biological system. When it faces a sudden change, it adapts smoothly to the stimulus. It maintains balance without needing a central boss to issue a directive. Our bodies operate on this principle of natural adaptation, handling incredible complexity effortlessly. Our boss-directed institutions do the exact opposite, attempting to freeze complexity in place. We cannot reform these parasitic institutions from the inside. Their architecture is literally programmed to preserve their own bureaucracies, and any internal attempt at change simply teaches the system how to better defend itself. If we want to stop feeling like pygmies dwarfed by our own creations, we have to abandon the static organizational chart. We have to engineer entirely new systems where human freedom is not a political promise, but the guaranteed mechanical output of the design.